Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and I'm going to be taking a look at another game as part of my Steam Summer Sale series that I am doing while the Steam Summer Sale is currently ongoing. And the game I will be looking at in this video is Scavenger. Now, Scavenger is a post-apocalyptic survival game, and it is a little rough around the edges, but it is a pretty interesting game. So let's just go ahead and start a new game here. Every game is going to start more or less the same way. And before we start, we do get to choose some things about our character. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fallout games, the original ones, where you can have different abilities, or you could have, well, both positive and negative traits, more or less. I'm going to go ahead and make myself maybe science-oriented. So I have 15 points to use, so I can do things like electrician, hacking, mechanic, botany, those kind of things, and each thing is going to have a little pip. So how many pips it has is how many points it costs you to take. So something like strong is going to take a lot of points to take because it's very valuable. So if we just go over what these things do: electrician, a knowledge of electronic systems and components; hacking, skill of manipulating computers; mechanic, knowledge of mechanical systems and components; botany, knowledge of herbs, fungi, and other useful, fungi, and other useful plants. And then we have other things like strong, which is going to do a number of things. That's why it's worth so many points, but we can carry more things. We can attack more effectively in melee combat, and we can create obstacles in combat. So we have more options in combat. We can take things like medic, which is going to improve healing and things like that. Metabolism, we don't need quite as much food. We do have 5 points left over, and I went for a lot of what I call sciences with this particular build, and that of course is going to aim my build in a certain way. Botany is going to help us out because we can determine what foods that we find in nature we can eat and what's safe to eat. So that's nice to have. That's why it's one of the more valuable of the abilities that I took. All right, other things we can take. I can take something like hiding, which will allow us to hide. I guess that makes sense. As I said, metabolism is going to help us with food. I'm going to try and balance out my points. So I think I'm going to go with hiding and athletic. And if I wanted more points, I could take one of these negative things. So you have things like fragile, which is probably going to be the opposite. Well, no, not quite. So you've got physical wounds, pain, and infections are more severe to you, and healing is slower. So perhaps the opposite of medic. So you have the opposite of metabolism here. So everything you gain from metabolism, you're going to lose with this one, or it's going to be worse for you. Feeble is going to be the opposite of strong. Myopia is going to be the opposite of eagle eyes, so you're not going to see quite as far. At least, yeah, I can see one hex further. And light and line of sight permitting you, and can detect hidden things easier. So myopia is going to be the opposite of that. Insomniac is going to cause us to have difficulty sleeping. And then this is out of shape, so it's going to be the opposite of athletic. Where with this, I'll just go over all the things that we have. So we have electrician, we already went over. Hacking, I think we went over. So skill of manipulating computers. Mechanic, knowledge of mechanical systems and components. Botany, I think we already covered. Hiding, the ability to hide is more effective. Camp concealment, stat visible on camp screen. And athletic, less fatigue per move. Can run away faster in battle, and can run further on map before run moves deplete. Okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and confirm that up, and we'll start our playthrough here. So you wake up disoriented, slumped over the base of an empty cryosleep pod, still damp from cryofluid. The thick dust from the floor clings to your skin, leaving a clean spot on the ground where a large O5 is painted. So probably roughly about there in the picture. Across the room, there is an open door to the hallway and a broken window leading outside. Just as you gather your wits, an unearthly scream erupts from down the hall beyond the doorway. Something is coming fast. So now we have a choice here. We have to choose which of our skills we want to use, or we could just jump out the window. So with that being said, we can take a look at our skill and how we're going to use that. So if we used hiding, we'd find some place to hide. That makes sense. We can use botany. That may or may not work. So we have to kind of think about it that way. We could hack the door to stay shut. So whatever's out there, we could close that door on them. We could also use electrician or mechanic to do more or less the same thing. And then we could use athletic skill to help us dive through that window maybe more effectively. I'm going to go ahead and hide. And we'll confirm. You quickly scan the room for a hiding place and duck behind the cryo tank nearest the window. Hopefully the light from outdoors will make it harder to see you in the nearby shadow, and with most of the room smelling of cryoprotectants, you stand a good chance of having your scent masked. You hold your breath as something enters the room. Its heavy breathing becomes more nasal as it begins sniffing the air. The sniffing grows closer but continues further into the room. It lets out an annoying bark, huffs, and starts sniffing back into the hall. A few minutes later, you're pretty sure it's out of earshot again, so some kind of creature came in, and we were able to effectively hide from it. Alright, now that we've done that, we've got additional options. So we can go out of the window. This time we're climbing out of it rather than jumping out of it. I think maybe if we jumped out of it, there would have been a risk that we'd cut ourselves, but now we could leisurely climb out the window. But let's go ahead and take a look at the console first. So we're going to select that and hit confirm. Okay, you check the console for any patient info and come across 3 records. Now remember, we were in tank 5. So tank 1, we have some things here, so some emergency contact information. Looks like we're in the Detroit area, I would guess, from this information here. And then we have ourselves, so Philip Kindred. And then we have the date that we were committed. No data, unfortunately, on us, and we've got some billing account information. Okay, now let's take a look at, well, let's first just confirm here. And at this point, I don't think there's anything else we can do, so we're just going to climb out the window and leave. You decide to go outside and see if you can figure out where you are. Avoiding the broken glass, you step onto the sill and outside, rustling some plants that have grown wild in the area. It's cool outside and damp, probably morning. The distant reports of a gun catches your attention. You cock your head listening, but it's over as quickly as it started. Obviously, you're not alone out here, though that doesn't necessarily comfort you. The one thing I'll point out right away, this game is procedurally generated. Every run will be a little bit different. And right away, I can tell you this is different. The description I got here is different because the location of this facility is different. And my first test playthrough, I came out into a parking lot. Now, I didn't play that test playthrough that much. I just did a little bit to see if the game was working and things like that. But yeah, I came out into a parking lot, so a very different area. It looks like we're here a little bit more out in the wilderness, so that may or may not affect our chance of survival. Now, with it being procedurally generated, this is a fairly difficult game, and there is some randomness and RNG into how likely you are going to survive. It's possible you're just not really encounter a whole lot to help you survive, and we'll see exactly how that's going to work once we jump into the world here. Oh, okay, maybe I am in a parking lot. You're in the parking lot of the Geiges cryo facility, but everything looks disused and in disrepair. Plants have pushed their way through the pavement and over the facility. Worst of all, nothing looks familiar. You don't remember this place or even who you are. Your frustration mounts, but you catch it and put it in check. Might as well take a look around. All right, so maybe I'm wrong with that, but from what I remember, this is procedurally generated to a certain extent, although so far I am seeing some things that are looking familiar. I actually don't know. Yeah, I think the time of year that you have might be random too. So unfortunately, we're in the winter, it looks like. So we can see outdoor temperatures are quite cold here. And although it is getting warmer, that could cause us to be a little bad or worse for the wear. Let's go ahead and take a look at our inventory. So we've got all this interface here. Now, the interface is a little rough. The visuals of the game are a little rough. As I said, this is an indie game, but a lot of what's going on in this game is pretty interesting. But let's go ahead and take a look at our inventory. So right now, we really don't have anything outside of a hospital gown, which is not going to be of much comfort to us in this cold weather. And we don't have any shoes, as we can see here. Barefoot is one of our current conditions. And outside of this, all we have is a wrist strap, which has our name on it, Philip Kindred. So that's the same thing that we saw in that database. And we also have a talisman on a braided leather string, which has a value to it. I guess we could trade. If we look over on the left, we have all of our stats, our current stats. So we've got hunger, thirst, how tired we are, how burdened we are, how comfortable we are, the outdoor temperature. So I have a feeling that we're not going to stay comfortable for too long, and our current health. And that might be affected by the temperature as well, as we have no protection to the elements outside of a flimsy hospital gown. Moving on, player condition. We're not really hurt, but I think you'd have bruises and cuts and other things show up here if we were. We can, as far as I understand, unless you have a backpack or a bag or something, which we don't currently have, all you have is your hands. So really, our hands can only hold one item. So we have shards of glass here. If I want, I can put that in my hand. You'll notice that it glows white. That means that's the only place I can put that. I can put this in my hand, but now my hand is full of glass, and I can't really put anything else in there. So moving on, I don't think we want to camp or do anything with vehicles yet, and I'm not exactly sure how this works. We also have just an update on our current abilities, and then we also have a crafting screen, but we don't really have anything to craft with. Now, if we have this little spyglass, magnifying glass, that's the word I'm looking for. The little magnifying glass means that we can scavenge in this area. So to do that, we're just going to click the scavenge button right here. And we can choose where we want to scavenge. So we're going to be scavenging the facility we just left. We select that, hit confirm, and then it's going to give us information on how likely it is we're going to find loot, how safe it's going to be to do that, and how likely we will be discovered when we are searching. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and confirm. All right, so we discovered some items. If we want to take a look at that, we'll open up our inventory. Okay, so it looks like really all we uncovered is the ability to go back into the facility. So that didn't really profit us anything. Let's go ahead and leave then. So we just want to close our inventory. And let's go over to the abandoned houses over here. So we're just going to move over here. As you approach the town, there's no sign of activity. Buildings stand in ruin. Vehicles are overturned and blackened with fire. Explosion marks radiate outward from walls and pavement. In the distance, strange-looking creatures circle in the sky, like monstrous leathery vultures. The world has drastically changed from what you knew. Some sort of cataclysm has befallen Earth, returning mankind to the Dark Ages, and along with it, your hopes of finding a warm meal and some answers. You decide to look around and scavenge what you can from the ruins. Okay, and also we have this little crate. The crate means that there's an item there, and if it's glowing yellow like that, that means that I haven't really looked at those items yet. They're new to me, so if we go over there, we might find something. But first, let's go ahead and scavenge. And just like before, we're going to have a number of buildings. Now, with this, there's more buildings to choose from, and we do each one individually. So I'm going to go ahead and select the first one, which is an abandoned house. We confirm. And at this point, we get an idea. This is how much loot there is, this is how safe it is, and this is how sneaky it is. Now, we can use some of our skills to help us. So, for instance, I can use hiding to make sure that we're not going to be discovered. But you'll note, when I use that skill, although I make my sneakiness much better, unfortunately, I remove a lot of the possibility of loot. Same thing with mechanic skill. I can use that to make the searching safer, but you'll notice that it reduced the loot. And I think it is proportional to how much you're affecting things. So we can be very sneaky here by hiding, but we'll get almost no loot possibility. I think we're going to go ahead and be risky at this point. And we're just going to not modify this at all. So we'll just confirm. No use for items found this time. Your activity likely alerted nearby creatures. So we have to be careful. We're going to continue to scavenge. I'm not exactly sure. There may be a menu here. Oh, yeah, moves left. So we have 2 more moves left, so we can scavenge 2 more times. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll continue with abandoned mobile homes here. And again, not great chance for loot. I could sneak again, but I'm just going to go ahead and confirm yet again. And we didn't find anything, fortunately. All right, let's scavenge one more time, and that will be the end of our turn, and time will pass. So we're going to go with another mobile home here. And unfortunately, our chance of finding things is just not really great in this location, but it's still worth trying, as we just found stuff. So let's look in here. So a sleeping bag, that might be good to take. Some pieces of old newspaper. We have a whiskey bottle. It's empty. We have a plastic water bottle, which is also empty. So I think we can use either of those to carry things for us. So I'm definitely going to take this. So we'll keep the sleeping bag and put it in one hand. And then I think I'm going to grab the whiskey bottle in our other hand. So that's a container. Now, it's a container for liquid specifically, but now we have a little bit of inventory space, technically speaking. All right. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot else that I'm going to do right now, so having a backpack is really going to be important for us. So let's go ahead and close our inventory. And we're going to end turn because we can't do anything else because we've gone through all of our moves. Okay, there is a dog here, and it's a feral dog. So it looks like it's already engaging me in combat. This might be quite bad for me. So this is where we get into the combat system. Now, this I'm not very familiar with at all. Currently speaking, let's see. We've got cover none, visible yes, weapon bite, conditions frail, so it's not going to do too well with me hurting it. And my current weapon is the whiskey bottle, which I actually don't want to break in theory, but it is a makeshift weapon, I guess. We can retreat, try and leave. Let's just go through these. So try to leave the battlefield based on enemy numbers and proximities, movement rates, etc. Must be out of all enemies' ranges. Removes cover. We could desperate retreat, moves 1 to 2 spaces away from the target and try to leave the battlefield based on enemy numbers, blah, blah, blah. Must not be in melee range. Okay, we're not. At least I don't think we are. And removes cover, makes you vulnerable. That might be bad. A high chance of tripping on terrain, high chance of being detected if hidden. Not always available. We could just run. So that's going to move away. And okay, so just fall back and run away. These are both trying to get distance. Okay, low chance of being detected if hidden. I don't actually know. It says visible, yes, so we're not hidden. Raise weapon and threaten to use it. Both you and target must see each other, which it seems we are. Dodge the target's next attack. All right, so it looks like range is 10, but I don't really know. I'm not that familiar with combat, so I'm not actually sure how much this dog's going to close with me. But let's just say let's see what this is going to do. So chance to move 1 space away from target. Must see target. Chance of being detected if hidden. Not always available. All right, so we could threaten it, but it's a dog. I don't know if that would work. How about we just go ahead and do a dodge? See if we can get a little bit of distance, but if he's going to close with me and attack, we'll be ready to avoid it. Okay, so we get to see a summary here. So, charges the player. Feral dog is exposed to easy attack for a moment. Player dodges feral dog's move. Player is dodging out of the way, making them hard to hit for a moment. Okay, so at this point, they're still coming. We could try and retreat. Let's just try and retreat. Okay, let's see. Feral dog charges a player. Player tries to retreat from feral dog, but can't get away. So, as I figure, our dog is going to be able to outrun me. It looks like he closed about 3 spaces with a charge. So, let's advance ourselves. So, we're within 2. So now we have a couple more choices. So we can parry. Parry target's next attack, making you much harder to hit. Must be in melee range. Must see target. Chance of being detected if hidden. Not always available. Or we could dodge. So I'm going to go with the parry. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, so feral dog advanced toward player. Feral dog is tripped. Feral dog fell to the ground and must regain footing to continue. Player parries feral dog's move. Player is parrying the next attack, making them hard to hit. Okay. So we can do a couple attacks now. So melee surge, launch a flurry of melee attacks at target, which is currently on the ground. Vulnerable, fallen, all those things. Chance to hit the target 1 to 3 times and stun them for 1 turn. Automatically lose 1 turn. Must be in melee range. Must see target. High chance of being detected if hidden. Or we could just do a normal melee attack. Well, let's do a melee surge. Or we could kick them, kick target while they're down. Chance to injure target, plus keep them fallen and force them to lose 1 turn. Must be in melee range, must see target. High chance of being detected. Okay, so we can either just go up there and absolutely wail on them. Or we could just keep kicking them and trying to keep them down. I think we can just go all out here and we'll just wail on them. So, confirm. Okay, so player tries to launch a flurry of attacks on the feral dog, but misses. Player needs a moment to recover before acting again. End turns. Players will... Okay, our whiskey bottle fell apart. So we're now punching. Okay, so we have to wait, unfortunately. Okay. Feral dog attacks player and hits. Feral dog grazes player's upper or right arm with a bite. Alright, so... we're going to go ahead and... parry again, perhaps. Player's parrying the next attack, making it hard to hit for a moment. Feral dog tries to attack player but misses. Feral dog is exposed to an easy attack for a moment. All right, so now we're going to attack. I have a couple other options here. Tackle target, but I'm not going to go for that. Confirm. Okay, feral dog threatens player. Player attacks feral dog and hits. Player battered feral dog's lower right leg with a punch. Okay, so they're no longer vulnerable, I don't believe. And I have a target moving 1 space closer and trying to knock them down. Chance to knock down target and make them lose 1 turn. Automatically fall and lose cover. Must see target. See, this is very high risk. I don't think that's worth it. Let's just go ahead and punch him again, because we don't have any other options here. So melee, confirm. Okay, so let's just see what happens. So, feral dog attacks player and hits me in the upper left leg. We are bleeding now and vulnerable. Player tries to attack dog but misses. Okay, so I'm bleeding. It doesn't appear that I have really any defensive options anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and just do another attack. Okay, so player attacks, we hit. All right, well, let's do this one first. Player fell to the ground. Okay, so something happened here. Feral dog fell, let's see. Tackled me. Okay. Feral dog fell to the ground and must regain footing to continue. Feral dog is exposed to easy attack for a moment. Player fell to the ground and must regain footing to continue. Player needs a moment to recover before acting again. Player attacks feral dog and hits. Okay, so I punched him. I don't know how well this is going, but we might be in trouble. Okay, so roll dodge. Roll from target, making you harder to hit. No, I think we should just get up. Okay, and then we can kick him here, try and keep him down. Okay. Player kicks feral dog while they're down. Feral dog's upper left leg was smacked. Player is bleeding. Feral dog is bleeding. All right, let's just keep kicking him. That's probably what I should have done the first time he fell down. Okay. Feral dog needs a moment. Okay, wait. Feral dog's lower stomach was... Okay, I kicked them. while they're down. Their lower stomach was pelted, severe pain, and is having trouble concentrating. Feral dog needs a moment to take... okay, feral dog fell to the ground and must regain footing to continue. Okay, so it looks like the dog is on its last leg. So let's just try and go for a melee surge here to try and finish him off. Okay. Let's go up here. Player launches a flurry of attacks and hits. Player needs a moment to recover before acting again. Okay, so we hit him 3 times with punches. The dog is unconscious. Feral dog passed out for an unbearable pain. Player's bleeding, and so on. So it looks like we're going to win this one. And the dog is still down. Let's just start kicking him. Okay. So, kick him while they're down. We smack him in the head. Has a concussion and is somewhat disoriented. Is stunned and unable to move for a moment. Dog is, I guess, out of it. And we'll kick him again. Okay. We kick him again. I guess we've kicked him as many times as we're going to be able to kick him. Let's just throw another flurry of blows. Okay. So, looks like we managed to kill it. Feral dog leader died due to acute bleeding in the lungs. Alright, so unfortunately, we did take some damage there and we are bleeding. So let's take a look at our health. So we've got a cut here and a cut here. Now we do have some dirty rags that we may be able, and all we have is a broken bottle, so we're not going to want that anymore. Although we could maybe use that as a weapon. Oh. Okay. I might want to do some crafting things too, but one thing I'm going to want to do is go to crafting. And I want to see what I can make with... Medical might have helped me here. I'm hoping that with the rags, we would be able to do something. What about this? Shard? There we go. So we can get some meat and some fur by... using the broken glass to cut the dog, so we'll confirm that. I'm going to take this. Can we do something with this? We can make a shiv, which is a kind of weapon. We might be able to wear the fur. I'm not positive on that. Let's just check real quick. No. It might be possible to craft clothing items, but I'm not exactly sure, and we might not have just enough fur to be able to do it. Let's do a combination here. Well, first off, we're going to use the dirty rag and the glass to make a shiv. So if we do want a weapon, there we go, we just got it. I'm kind of hoping that I could make some kind of bandage, but I might need to cleanse the dirty rags, turn them into clean rags before I can make bandages. So that's kind of unfortunate. We do have some meat, but I don't really have a bag to put it in, unfortunately. But I at least did make myself a shiv, so let's go ahead and grab that, put that in our hand. I wish I could take this fur with me, but again, I don't really have a bag. We could always come back. The meat would be nice, but unfortunately we can't do anything with that. So, I mean, that was not really ideal what just happened there, because we're bleeding and I don't really have a means to take care of that right now. But let's go ahead and leave the screen here. And I'm going to try and continue to scavenge, mostly because I really desperately want to find something here. So we're going to go ahead and confirm this. We did manage to find some stuff. This might be quite good for us. So we found another sleeping bag. We found a pair of binoculars. We found some bullets, a few different types of bullets. Unfortunately, I don't have a gun, and oh, you know, the water bottle we're going to really want. So we're going to get rid of that sleeping bag, and we're going to get this heavier one instead, because it is winter time after all. And I almost feel like the water bottle is more important than the shiv. As much as we did go to great lengths to make that, we can always come back and get this stuff. It's not like it's going to walk away on us. I may be able to do something with this. So let me just see, crafting-wise, what we can do with that. The glass? No, it's not going to be good. How about this? Okay, I was kind of hoping you can oftentimes different items like binoculars, you can get a means to tie it around your neck. Unfortunately, I don't have that right now. See, I can't put this anywhere but in my hand. It'd be nice to have the binoculars, but unfortunately we can't do that. All right, so we've done all our scavenging. Let's come over this way. Okay, we do have an enemy presence. Let's take a look at what's over here. We've got water, which we can put in our water bottle. And then we've got pebbles and stones. Okay, well, I don't know if that's really going to help us right now. But at least we do have some water. So what does this say? We've got a stranger of some type. Well, I don't think we have much in the way of movement. Okay, we can move here. All right, so we don't know what this guy's like. We have no idea if he's friendly or not. If he attacks me, I have a feeling that we're probably going to be in a rough spot. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to talk to him. I'm going to say, hey, you want to talk? Okay, so let's see what we have going on here. So we offer to talk. Player's temporarily distracted. Okay. That's not good. So it doesn't look like he is willing to talk to me. And he's coming up to us. So I will offer a ceasefire. Oh, he's a bad mother, huh? Okay. Player's bleeding. Bad mother charges us. Player offers a ceasefire to bad mother. Okay, so that's unfortunate. It looks like we're going to get smacked here. Okay. Attacks player and hits. He hits us with the saucepan, hurting us. We're bleeding internally. We're stunned and unable to move. I have a feeling this is going to be the end of our run. So pretty quick here. He's beaten us to death, more or less. And we're on the ground, pretty hurt. So I'm going to try and get up. We can't surrender. I don't think that he would probably accept that, though. So let's get up. So there was a risk that I had here that we would be attacked here. So this guy tried to attack me. Let's just be desperate here. We're going to throw flurry of blows here. Okay, so let's just go through. And we hit. So we do need a moment to recover. And they're exposed to an easy attack. So, player bruised, we punched him a few different times. Okay, so we need to wait to recover from that flurry. Let's go after him again. Okay. He hit us in the leg. We miss, and this is probably going to be the end for us. Okay. He missed us with the flurry of blows. Let me just... I think we have to hit him with a flurry here. We got to get lucky. We missed again. I don't think he... Yeah, he had to wait, so we're going to see... He did attack me, hit me again. We're having trouble concentrating, so that's not good. We're in severe pain. Let's throw one more flurry out there. He hit us again in the stomach, and we missed yet again. Okay. So we're now unconscious. Players, okay, so fell to the ground, regain footing. So we have a lot of things wrong with us right now. Let's just confirm here. So he's continuing to hit us And there we go. And that's the end of the game. So, as you can see, this game's really brutal. If you have bad luck early, like what we had, it's going to really turn against you. I think even just that start was not a great start for us. We're in the middle of the winter, and all we have is a hospital gown. Now, if it was more summertime, springtime, I wouldn't have been as desperate to search as I was. And really, what I was needing was a backpack of some kind, a bag, anything, so that I could start stuffing items in. Because we were finding stuff, I could only carry so much because I only have 2 hands. So this is definitely a rough game, but it has a pretty interesting premise. It's very RNG based, both in the world creation, the stuff that you're going to encounter, how the battles play out. So if you're not really into something like this, something that's so difficult, something that's so RNG based, I could see you being turned off. But it is a very interesting concept, and you don't see things like this coming out all the time. So I thought it was a game that was worth taking a look at. I've only put a little bit of time into this game so far, so I can't give it a big recommendation, but it's still something that's worth taking a look at, especially as it is on sale, and you know, it's fairly cheap. So if you liked it, maybe you can maybe think about taking a look at it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and the series where I'm taking a look at the Steam games, the Steam Summer Sale games. This is Mouse Gunner signing out.